Today in this video, we are going to explain supply of money. What is meant by supply of money? What are the different approaches of supply of money? And what is the RBI, Reserve Bank of India's approach of money supply? Supply of money. The supply of money refers to the amount of money held by the public in an economy at a given point of time. The supply of money is a stock concept. It has no time dimension. It is a stock variable. Here, the term public means the private individuals and the business firms operating in the economy. Thus, in the supply of money, we include only the amount of money held by individuals and business firms. The money held by the government and the currency lying with the central bank and the commercial banks is not included in the money supply in order to avoid double counting. For example, we can say if X deposits rupees 1 lakh in his account, the deposit so created is a part of the money supply. However, if this amount of rupees 1 lakh held by the bank is also counted, it would lead to double counting. Constituents of money supply. There are two approaches regarding the constituents of money supply: traditional or narrow approach. According to narrow approach, all these assets which perform the function of medium of exchange are included in the supply of money. Therefore, the constituents of money supply include currency money, that is current coins and currency notes. Currency money is also termed as legal tender money because it is recognized and issued by the government. It has full legal sanction. And currency money is of two types: coins and currency notes. That is called paper currency or paper notes. Coins used to the principal type of money in circulation in the past earlier. But now currency notes are the most important part of money supply. The central bank in every country enjoys the monopoly of issuing currency notes. In India, the Reserve Bank of India, that is RBI, has the monopoly with regard to the issue of currency notes, leaving 1 rupee notes. This 1 rupee note is issued by the Ministry of Finance because this 1 rupee is considered as coin. It is a limited use. Next is demand deposits of the commercial banks. Demand deposits are termed as bank money also. Banks' demand deposits are referred to as money supply because they are transferable by checks in the settlement of debts. The creation of bank money or demand deposits depend on the credit creation activities of the banks, which is based on the cash volume held by these commercial banks. So, money supply according to traditional or narrow approach is currency money and demand deposits. Currency money is two types: coins and paper notes or currency notes. Modern or broad approach. The broader approach of money supply is based on the liquidity approach and stresses the store of value function of money. According to modern approach, money supply includes coins, currency notes, banks demand deposits, financial assets such as deposits with non-banking financial institutions like the unit trust, building societies, post office savings banks, etc. Bills that includes treasury and exchange bills, bonds and equities, and credit cards. So this is the modern approach of money supply. Reserve Bank of India approach of money supply. The RBI provides measures of money supply in the country in accordance with both narrow as well as broader approach. For this purpose, RBI has adopted four measures of money supply. M1 measures of money supply. M1 measures of money supply is equal to, or it includes, currency notes, C for currency notes and coins with the public, excluding cash in hand of all commercial banks. So C is the currency notes and coins with the public, excluding cash in hand with the commercial banks. DD, demand deposits, excluding interbank deposits. So demand deposits of all commercial banks and cooperative banks, excluding interbank deposits. OD is the other deposits that are held with the RBI. So thus M1 is equal to C plus DD plus OD. C means currency and coins with the public. DD is the demand deposits with the commercial banks and cooperative banks. And OD is the other deposits held with the RBI. Second approach, M2. M2 is equal to M1. That means all the components of M1, C plus DD plus OD, plus savings deposits with post office savings bank account. So we can say M2 is equal to C plus DD plus OD plus savings deposit with post office savings bank. These post office savings bank deposits are relatively less liquid than demand deposits with the commercial bank because they cannot be withdrawn by checks. But they are certainly more liquid than time deposits. Now M3 measures of money supply. M3 is equal to M1, that is C plus DD plus OD, plus time deposits of all commercial and cooperative banks, excluding interbank time deposits. M3 measures of money supply is equivalent to the broader concept of money supply and represents aggregate monetary resources. It is the broader concept of money supply. The fourth measures of money supply is M4. M4 is equal to M3. M3 means C plus DD plus OD plus time deposits of all commercial and cooperative banks plus total deposits with the post office savings bank organization. M3 includes M1 plus time deposits. So M4 is equal to M1. M1 is C plus DD plus OD plus time deposits of all commercial and cooperative banks plus total deposits with the post office savings organization excluding NSC. NSC is the National Savings Certificates. These are the four approaches of money supply that are adopted by RBI, Reserve Bank of India. Factors affecting money supply. Money supply in an economy depends on so many factors. Some of the prominent factors are monetary policy of the central bank. Monetary policy of the central bank has an important effect on money supply. How? If the central bank follows a dearer money policy, for example, increase in bank rate and cash reserve ratio, and decide to sell off securities in the open market, the money supply will be reduced. On the other hand, if the central bank adopts a cheap money policy, the money supply will increase. So the supply of money in an economy depends on the monetary policy of the central bank. Next, commercial banks' capacity and policy of credit creation. The capacity of the banks to expand the volume of bank deposits depend upon cash available to the banking system. The larger the cash balance, the more will be the volume of deposit expansion, and vice versa. The cash reserve ratio also limits the credit creation capacity of the commercial banks. Lower is the ratio, greater is the availability of the banks to create credit. The willingness of the borrower to borrow funds also affect the credit creation by the commercial banks. Next, government fiscal policy. When government follows a deficit budget policy, that is excess of public expenditure over public revenue, the money supply increases. On the other hand, when government follows a surplus budget policy, that is excess of public revenue over public expenditure, the money supply decreases. So government fiscal policy also affects the money supply. Next is community's choice. The credit creating capacity of the commercial bank is also influenced by the public desire to hold cash. If the public desires to hold more cash, then the credit creation is lesser and vice versa. Banking habit of the people or public also affects money supply in the economy. So we find that how the money supply is affected by these factors. That's all for this video. Thank you.